everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm finally doing a tutorial video on my drawing process, and for this video I decided to draw a cat. So the reference photo I am just going to put here on the screen so that you can screenshot it and use it as you would like. In this video, first of all, I'm going to be showing the supplies that I'm going to be using. We're going to be doing the sketching. I use the grid method to sketch. So then I'm going to be going into the most difficult part, which is the coloring, and that's going to be taking up most of this tutorial. And I just want to specify that you do not need this much stuff and you do not need these exact things to follow this tutorial, because especially with colored pencils, I have a ton of colors. You don't need that. The point of this tutorial, it's not going to be about the colors that I'm using, it's more about how I use them. Sketchbook that I use is this one, the smooth one, which I think is best for colored pencils. It's very thick as well, so that's great. A4 sized over here. And then for sketching, I just use this random mechanical pencil. Then of course an eraser, again, just a random eraser that I have. A ruler, since we're going to be doing the grid method. Then the colored pencils that I use are by Castle Arts. I think that for the price of these, like, they are very affordable compared to other pencils of similar quality. This is the 120 set, and I'm pretty sure it was around 60 euros. So yeah, it's got lots of colors, but as I said, don't fret, you don't need all of this. So now, how do we actually do the grid method properly? Because you know, it's not just about having random squares, you need them to actually fit into the proportions of your drawing. I always use this site, Red Ketchup, to resize my image. So you have you know, your reference photo, and then your paper, in this case it's 21 centimeters by 29.7. You're going to go on custom aspect ratio. You're on vertical, we're going to do 29.7. There you go. So see, it wasn't that exact size, it had to be resized a little bit, and now it's going to be perfect for my paper, or in your case, whatever dimensions you've got. And now I am going to go to my app where I actually add the grid, and I've been using this one for years. I don't even know if there's another option. So I use Drawing Grid Maker. And now here you also have to be careful calculating how many squares you want. Oh, you know, for example, 29.7 is a strange number, right? So I just go on my calculator app and I really just play with it here until I find something that looks right, that I can actually do with my rulers. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with 15. Also, you can just every time that you're doing one square, multiply it and see what you're supposed to do. Over here we're gonna do 15 and 10 over here, and you can also make the thickness of this smaller by just doing 0 here. There you go. And you can label it. The square is going to have this, you know, a letter and a number, so it's easier to keep track of them. And now we're ready to start. Now we can go ahead and do the grid. Now I'm also going to add the labels. You don't need to write every single number. I just do the letters and then like the numbers in the middle and at the top, something like that. To make this more simple for possible beginners that might be watching this, I am also going to be using the grid method to color. So we're going to color like one square at a time. So actually with animals, I don't really think that you need to sketch all of the outlines of like the fur. So the only things that I'm going to sketch before we color are the eyes and the nose and a bit of the ears. Okay, so finally we can start coloring, and as I said before, I'm going to start with the eyes and then we can kind of start working our way with the fur around the eyes. Another thing is, even though she has green eyes, it's like if you look over here, this is a bit more yellow, and then there's some brown, a little bit of like blue over here. So don't think this is the main color that I'm seeing, so this is like the only one that I need. There's always a ton of colors inside of like one color. I don't know how to explain it, but just really zoom in and think about all of the colors that you're seeing. As you can see, I have some green, brown, yellow, just a bunch of stuff, anything I might need. A rule that I have, this is just a rule I follow, it's not really something you have to do, but I always go from dark to light colors. So I look at my reference photo and first I fill out all of the dark colors and then I go on to the brighter ones. And I think that works better because it's easier to blend light colors into dark ones more than it is to blend dark ones into light ones. I learned that from oil painting, and then I realized that it also works well for me in pencil drawings. I'm going to erase my outline a bit because then I don't want it to show under my pencil drawing. I'm going to start slowly adding in some new colors and then kind of just figuring it out as I go. Start blending in with the white a little bit. I'm also using a bit of this yellow ochre. Now we're going to add this part, so it's, honestly, I don't know what it's called. It's the part where it's like a bit pink. So I'm going to be using mostly grays and I think shades of pink, peach. Grays in first, so darker around the edges to create a bit of depth, and then keep it lighter in the middle. Blend it a bit. Don't blend everything with white, it can get muddled up pretty easily. Just, you know, go one step at a time, do it slowly and see how it's going. So now I'm going to do this eye using the same process. Alright, so I'm going to start directly from here outside of this eye, and then I'm going to start here with this bit where the orange first starts, but I'm not going to be using many shades of orange. It's more like orangey browns. You know, it would look bad if we did just orange. It's more realistic if we use a bit of brown. I'm going to start with gray over here. So once I'm done with the darkest parts, I like to just pick a color that is like the main sort of foreground color in the square and very lightly add it to the whole square, sort of like in painting there's underpainting, which is a similar thing. You can't really see some of the first layers, but they're just like you're slowly building it up. Before we like blend or anything, I would like to do a bit more square so that we can actually like get an idea of how the whole thing is turning out. So moving on to E5. Another important thing is just look at the direction where the fur is going. So, you know, like this one is like this. That's more important than trying to get every single piece of fur right. It's just the direction and the colors in general. Really pay attention to all of the colors and then slowly connect all of the squares together. I'm going to sketch the whiskers one by one with my pencil. Since we're working grid by grid, it's going to be hard to actually get the shape when you're doing like this bit first and then this bit. So I'm going to sketch them out and then put my colors around the whiskers. Well, there you go, guys. Here's the finished drawing, and I am really happy with it. If you have any questions about this drawing, or maybe about the sped up parts, do just comment and I'll reply to every comment. I'll put a photo where maybe you can see without the reflections and everything, but this is the finished drawing. Sometimes I add a setting spray. I have to do that outside. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope it was helpful to you. Again, if you make this drawing, do share it with me. I'll be really happy to see it. And yeah, see you in my next video. Bye!